fans. This is Jersey Joe, and with the 2019-2020 season coming upon us, we're already in Season 1 of the Jersey Joe Corner, and there's already 2 interviews done. There's one more coming up. The first one was done by me interviewing Jim Berger of Boston Hockey Now, and also he writes for lastwordonhockey.com. And so far, I have extracted a lot of really good information from Jim, and it's a pretty successful first 2 interview episodes. Already have 3 episodes up and running on Anchor.fm, also on Spotify and Google Podcasts, just to name a few on a few platforms. I am excited for this upcoming Devils team with what they can possibly achieve after getting Jack Hughes in the draft, and then not only is that center for the next 10 to 20 years, you have Nikolai Hischier, who's already been there. You have Wayne Simmons and John Hayden to add the grit and physicality and the leadership. And then you have PK Subban, who just recently got Lindsey Vonn to accept to being engaged yesterday. But it's within this amount of time that PK has started to make his mark on New Jersey, and it's going to be a very interesting one. Also, let's not forget Nikita Gusev. For quite a while, you have to think about how PK was the big talk of the town. Now, Gusev is the first winger coming over to the New Jersey Devils in a trade from the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The Golden Knights were the team that just was so far over the cap that Ray Shero basically swooped in, giving a 2022nd round pick and a 2021 third round pick. For those of you that didn't know, that occurred on day 2 of the draft. So this was one of those big moves that Ray Shero was able to counter-attack the New York Rangers, getting Jacob Trouba and then signing him long-term extension. So what does this mean for me as a podcaster? I also have my platform is going to be with Big Heads Media LLC, so I'm going to also be on their platform as well, but I get to be on my own terms more. I am very happy with all the additions Ray Shero has done. I think there's going to be a lot more skill, a lot more grit. The top 2 pairings will be a lot better than last year's, and the bottom 6 will be a lot more round out through the year, and there should be a lot more depth. Regarding injury on someone like a Taylor Hall, where I can see Ray bringing up a kid and then having to move up Gusev up one line if something like that were to occur. Also, Will Butcher got an extension, and you have Andy Green is on his last year of his contract, and then Ty Smith, I believe, will make the team. I saw Ty Smith last year. He looked very calm, cool, collected. He came very close to making the team last season, but he went back to the WHL, to the Spokane Chiefs, and he got the CHL Defenseman of the Year award. And to me, I'm not too surprised that he got the award, because I saw what he did in camp and what he did with Hockey Canada, and it's so great to see a kid who fell that far to New Jersey that New Jersey was able to capitalize on a defenseman like that, and New Jersey always needed a nice defenseman. I do like the two defensemen the Devils selected in this past year's draft, in Nikita Gusev from the Ottawa 67s, physical guy, big burly defenseman that you would normally see in maybe 5-10 years ago. I think the league is going to get bigger, stronger with those kinds of defensemen. And then you have Daniil Misiul, who is physical. He's a graceful skater, has speed, and I think he's one of those guys that got overlooked in the draft. And after watching scouting, Will Scouch did a great job on evaluating, but I think Misiul, his skating reminds me a little bit of Scott Niedermayer, but his physicality can be a bit like Ken Danico. But Misiul is not a big, tantalizing defenseman, but he's a really good size. If you're going to ask me about Jack Hughes, I think if you remember Nico Hischier, his first year, he had about over 50 plus points in his first year. I don't think it's out of the question to see Nico getting about 60 to 78 points in his first season. I wouldn't be shocked to see him do that because you have so many great talents that have come over from Europe, and Elias Pettersson had proved that a guy like him could be a very interesting winger forward, and that release that he has is very subtle, and it's hard for goaltenders to read. And I think the way Jack Hughes has that release and the way he can make plays at high speeds and make those decisions just in nanoseconds is just something that a lot of scouts would drool for, because you don't see players going at top speed or Mach speed, if you will, and being able to dish a good lateral pass, so on and so forth. People will always judge players' sizes, but I think this era in hockey is starting to be more about skill, dynamics, upside, versus like remember Nolan Patrick? He had red flags going in. He was supposed to be the consensus first overall pick, but Nico Hischier had the better upside, and he's proven to be a first line, second line center, turning into a really good two-way player, similar to Datsuk and Nicholas Backstrom type player. So I want to let my viewers know that I have a Patreon page, and for those of you who are starting to listen to my podcasts, also if you like my videos here on YouTube, you can press that like button, and also you can click on my Patreon page, and if you want to become a patron, go ahead. But if you become a patron of mine, you can give me ideas, and I'll try and address what you want in the podcast. I already have another person coming up. I'm not going to give away the person in the next interview, and I'm actually excited for this one because this one person is a scout. He's not an NHL scout, but he is a WHL scout. With that being said, I wish everyone a happy summer. If I don't see you, I wish you a happy Labor Day. And let's go Devils.